Alright guys, we're back at the Yamaha. So I removed 3 bolts, as you can see, and a cover to expose a pressure release valve, or a Poppit valve. And I'm getting an overheating alarm at idle and at forward idle after the motor's been running for a while. And the P stream is not that strong at those speeds. So as my understanding is the water pump impeller needs as much water as it can to go up to the power head to cool the power head. And as the RPM increases, the impeller makes more water available to the power head than is needed, and that extra pressure of water gets pushed out of this valve, which I'll show you in a second, and goes out the exhaust. So in a situation where this is not sealed properly or becomes worn out or corroded, some of that water that is needed for the engine at low idle will seep past the Poppit valve. It's not seated properly, it's corroded, the rubber gasket is brittle, and the water goes out the exhaust when it should be going to the power head. Because remember, at idle speeds, it needs all the water it can because it's not pumping that much. And at high speeds, there's too much pressure and it opens this release valve and the water goes out the exhaust. So if the water is going out the exhaust at idle, not enough water is going into the power head. So it contains a gasket, which I'll replace. And here we're looking at the rubber grommet as it came out of the cylinder, out of the block. Focus. And the little stopper. And pull it all out in this order. It's just a plastic piece and a spring and the cover and the 3 bolts and the center bolt that I believe just hold on to this exhaust hose. So it does look pretty corroded, the spring and the rubber grommet. I want to keep it in exact order because I can see it's a little bit different here. The inside is not really. See, there's like salt deposits. It's kind of worn. There's a gouge right there. There's a gouge right there. It's hard to see, but it's not the perfect specimen. So it's actually not even perfectly round. It's kind of like oblong. So we're going to replace this, and we're going to replace the spring and the stopper and the gasket and clean up the housing and get it all back together again, which is only 3 screws. Simple do-it-yourself thing. And all so far required was a 10 millimeter socket. So we'll put this back there, and you can see the seal. See the seal there? Probably not perfect. And once water gets past it, probably more water can get past it. So we'll see what happens. Sometimes the motor does that condition, sometimes it doesn't. Last trip I went out, I idled and did whatever I wanted to do and nothing overheated. It is kind of a pain in the ass because you gotta shut the motor off and stop the alarm, restart it, and then give it some RPM in neutral to get the pump going and cool the engine off. If you do that, you're fine, but you don't want to have to do that. You want things to work the correct way. So that's it. And I broke off this little adapter for the cleaning hose adapter, but no big deal. All right, guys, out.